again. So, welcome to the third consecutive day on FOMO No More since Friday of delving into the world of Shaktis, Shakti energies, Shakti seed sounds or seed vibrations within us. On Friday, we delved into the idea of all the Shaktis flowing down from the cosmos through your channel, your central channel, through your chakras as different Shakti sounds, different Shakti energies, culminating at the Kundalini, at the Muladhara chakra, in the seed energy of the sound Gang. And Gang is also the sound of the energy of Ganesha. So Ganesha, if we go beyond the form to the energy of the idea of Ganesha, it is our Muladhara energy. The energy from where we begin our ascent, from where we begin our evolution, from where we begin every creative force. So we learned the Shakti Ganesha mantra, Sri Vidya Ganesha mantra on Friday. Yesterday we revised it briefly, and then we went deeper into the idea of Shakti, deeper into the idea of the power of seed sounds, and ultimately we went into the most powerful seed sound, the Pranav mantra, Om, and how through the power of our own intent we can direct the energy of Om to any spot in our body, to affect any ailment, any condition, any pain, any psychological discomfort even. If we direct it to the area which is being disturbed, then in a particular manner in which we chanted yesterday, with the use of breath, with the use of sound, many of us were able to ease the condition within 5 or 6 chants. So imagine if you did the same and went into an alpha or meditative state, or further into a theta or trance state, doing the same, you could completely transform your being. So as promised yesterday, today we are going to go a little deeper into the practice of the divine forces of life, the forces of life that make our own being, the forces of life that make the entire universe. And those forces of life in the Shakti practice in India, particularly in the Sri Vidya practice of India or Indian culture, which goes beyond Indian borders, the body of the divine Shakti or the divine mother is one with the energies or the levels of energies of the universe, and is also one with the energies of our own human makeup, our own human consciousness, our own human body. So today we are going to go into the vibrational aspect to a small extent. It's an ocean of knowledge. Sri Vidya is an ocean of knowledge and an ocean of practice. But today we are going to introduce the Adhar again, the base of that ocean of practice. So you will become hungry enough to go further into that vast ocean of knowledge, but you will get the basic, not only the idea, but the deeper understanding of why this beautiful structure of the Sri Chakra or the Sri Yantra or three-dimensionally the Meru, why and how this becomes synonymous to our own body and synonymous to the different powers and levels of the universe. Exciting, very exciting journey. So be with me, be 100% with me, because the more you focus today, the more you will get out of this session. Okay? So before we do that, let's get ourselves ready with two things that we've learnt already in the practice of Sri Vidya. The Amar Nyasa, which we have done before. Some of you may be new onto our talks, but some of you who have been there for many of our talks have learned the Amar Nyas. That's the cleansing set of Bija mantras. Nyasa is that which purifies and empowers. After that, we will do the Ganesha Shakti mantra, which we practiced yesterday as well. So very quickly, we'll go through both without repeating again and again, maybe just twice each, and then we will go into the initial journey, the first journey with the Sri Yantra. So let us begin with the chanting of Amar Nyas. Shri You remember? Ain, Hreem, sun in the right eye, raging fire in the left eye, entire face inside the moon, Shreem, the golden nectar of the divine feet on the tongue, Swam, the nectar flowing down through your body, right side, Ham, nectar flowing down through your left side. That's Amar Nyas. Okay, once more. Shri Swam Okay, once more. Om Hri Aha Tham Shri Once more. Hri Aha Tham Shri Ganesha mantra. Hri Shri Kli Glaum Ganganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam me Vashamanaya Swaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Ganganapataye Namaha Ganganapataye Namaha So welcome to the world, the vibrational world of Sri Vidya, the worship of the forces of the universe, through the understanding of the divine Shakti, the Shaktis, the culmination of the many forces of life into the body of Shakti. Shakti, that is the moving forces of the universe. All the moving forces of the universe, the kindnesses of the universe, the electromagnetic forces, the electricity, the fire, the heat, the light, the sound, the aromas, every wave motion, every frequency, every single force of the universe as the combination, as the composite, holographic body of the universe which is Shakti, the universe which is the divine feminine, which is the divine mother, because mother is feminine, mother is force, mother is Shakti, mother is all movement, all vibration. So when we talk about vibrations, when we talk about forces, we talk about them as the feminine energy of the universe. Masculine is seen to be the potential energy, that which is held, which knows all, which holds all, which has the seed. And the feminine is seen as the moving forces of the universe. Shakti is the moving force. Shakti is the descending force. Shakti is the manifesting force of the universe. And that is explained in many, many forms in our Indian culture. Adi Shankaracharya, in his great poem, great text of the description of this divine mother, this divine force, begins Saundarya Lahiri with one shloka which explains it all. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yada Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitu. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yada Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitum. It's a beautiful text. It's a poem which goes on in a beautiful song. You may like to hear it sometime. What does it mean? The shloka. Shiva is without Shakti, without any energy. Shiva is a corpse, is devoid of any energy if he is without his Shakti, which means without his feminine counterpart. Shiva Shakti. You've heard of Shiva Shakti? The concept of Shiva Shakti? So Shiva is that which is beyond the forces. That is why when we say Shivoham, Shivoham, it does not mean the Lord Shiva in the shape of Shiva, the Lord. No, it means I am that unmoving force beyond all my movements, beyond all my forces, which are my Shaktis. But me, the Shiva, is the potentiality, the unmoving force, the truth being behind all my moving forces, all my elements, all my pranas, all my limbs, all my sensory organs. These are my Shaktis. These are my feminine counterpart. But me, the Shiva, the Satchidananda Rupa, is the unmoving, stable, blissful force behind all these movements. That's what Shivoham means in the whole idea of that song. So here again Adi Shankaracharya is saying Without Shakti, without the movement of his feminine being, without his feminine being, the Shakti, the Divine Mother, who is the moving force, Shiva is like a corpse. He is without Shakti. He is without any energy. And in many paintings in the past, you might have seen this iconography, this kind of imagery of Shiva and Shakti, where Shiva is lying dead. He is lying on the ground like a corpse with an erect phallus, which is the sign of potentiality but of no use to Shiva because Shiva is a corpse. And Shakti, Kali, dancing on top of him. Her feet are astride on both sides of his body and she is in a dance. So the meaning, the symbolism of that painting is the moving feminine force of the universe, Shakti, takes the potentiality and makes creation happen. So all creation is Shakti, Kala, Kali, space and time. All the movement between space and time is the dance of Kala, the dance of Kali, into the many forms of Shakti. Very interesting. This leads to many other discussions about the forces of the universe. But just to begin that thought, I just thought I'll bring in some of the Indian cultural aspect into it. So I just introduced that to you. And now, leading from that idea, I will bring you to the Sri Yantra. Many of you might have seen it. Okay. There are many aspects to the Sri Yantra, but we will deal with only some of them, which will cover one line of understanding and one line of expression. Okay. So, if you look at the Sri Yantra now, what do you see? What do you see? Sri Yantra is the basis of the worship of Sri Vidya, in Sri Vidya, and okay, and this Sri Yantra, if you look at it this way, it is like a mountain which is called the Meru. Okay. So, on top is the ultimate point you want to reach, the Bindu, Shiva. Shivoham. You become Shivoham here, and at the bottom, you complete your manifestation in the universe. You complete the dance of Shakti and you make things happen. So the idea is to understand who you are and descend into creation, into your own Shaktis, and to make things happen perfectly. Yes? And understand all the levels in between, the 9 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You will see them as I will take you through them one by one. Okay. Just observe very carefully. So you see a square at the bottom. That is your Mooladhara Chakra, the square. Yes. Then you see the next lot of 16 petals. This layer has petals. The outer layer has 16 petals. Okay. Then you see another layer of petals, which is 8 petals. Yes. Then you see a 14-edged triangle. That's the fourth chakra from the bottom, the 14-edged. Okay, this one, the 14-edged triangle. Okay. Then what do you see after that? Observe. 14-edged. Then you see a 10-edged triangle, this one. 10-edged triangle. Yes. Then you see another 10-edged triangle just above that. Yes, this one. That's also 10-edged. Then you will see an 8-edged triangle, even smaller, above that. Here, this one. Then you will see just a triangle just before this point. You will see a small triangle which is surrounding it. And then you will see this point right on top. Yes. Also, if you look carefully, you will see 5 triangles pointing downwards. From the point, you see from the point, you will see a small triangle and then a bigger and a bigger. So you will see 5 triangles after the bindu, after the point, pointing downwards. And you will see 4 triangles pointing upward. Yes, see? 4 triangles pointing upward, 5 triangles pointing downward. Okay? So the 5 triangles pointing downward are Shakti, and the 4 triangles pointing upward are Shiva, and the intersection in the middle, which is the bindu, is the point where the potentiality and the movement, the vibration, the manifestation or the creation meet. Okay. So, I'm sure you've seen a flat drawing of this very often, but this is the 3-dimensional structure of it. It's a very interesting, very, very complex, sacred geometrical pattern, has very high energy. It is the base of many of the old temples, particularly in Odisha and in the south. Okay. So, did you like the Sri Chakra? Did you like the feel of it? It is like, yes, indeed, it is like a pyramid. It is indeed a pyramid, but more complex than a pyramid. One day we will have a very, very, very large Meru, a very large Sri Yantra in India, where you can go in each of these avarnas. Avarna means levels. Each of these levels have all these petals and triangles, etc. And each one of these triangles has a different bija mantra. Okay? has a different bija mantra. So imagine how many bija mantras are there in the Sri Yantra, and each one of them cures a different part of your body. Okay? Each one of them. So one day, maybe you will be able to walk into the Sri Yantra inside and sit in each one of these triangles and chant or hear the chant of that bija and get cured of a particular health condition. So ideally that is what happens when you understand the science of the Sri Yantra. You're able to use it completely to understand every plane and part of your body. Okay? So obviously we are nowhere close to being able to practice all these energies and sounds. The capacity of these talks is much too limited to go deep into this. But what we will do today is to understand these different avarnas, these different levels with respect to the human body. There are 9 levels, as I explained. So we will now go into the 9 levels of the Sri Yantra with respect to our body, which is also the body of the Divine Mother. We are just a hologram of the Divine Shakti. We are all Divine Shaktis. We are small holograms who are here to manifest the work of Shakti in the universe. The divine work. We are here for the divine work in this universe. So, how do we understand our own different levels as corresponding to the different levels of the universe? Okay? So, we begin with this lowest level, the square. Yes, you see the square? This lowest level. Yes. So what is the lowest level? What is it called? Trailokya Mohana Chakra. Trailokya. Trailokya Mohana Chakra. And you see it has 3 lines. See the 3 lines? It has 3 lines. Yes? So the base chakra has 3 lines. The 3 lokas. So what does Trailokya Mohana Chakra mean? Now let us think of what is our Mooladhara Chakra. What is the Mooladhara Chakra? It is the chakra from where the huge Kundalini energy begins its journey. It is a chakra of great heat. It's a chakra of great magnetic attraction, great power, gravitational force. That which is connected by gravity to the earth consciousness. Also the holder of the earthy elemental state, as we discussed before in one of our talks. So here in Sri Vidya, this base, the square base, which is in line with the Mooladhara Chakra, is called Trailokya Mohana Chakra. So if you can also look at the spelling of it, Trailokya Mohana, you can add an A after Mohan if you like. Trailokya Mohana Chakra. Second one is Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra. The third is Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra. If you want to write it, I'm just going to call them all out. You can write it. Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra. What is the next one? Sarva Saubhagya Dayak Chakra. Sarva Saubhagya Dayak Chakra. Okay. Sarva Paripurak. Sorry. Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. Sarva Rogahara Chakra. Sarva Siddhiprada Chakra. And Sarvanandamaya Chakra. Sarvanandamaya Chakra. So these are the 9 levels of the Sri Chakra. The 9 levels of the Sri Chakra corresponding to 9 levels in our own body. So what do these names mean? Earlier we understood the chakras through the elemental states, the earth elemental state, the fluid or water elemental state, the fiery state, the fire elemental state, the air elemental state, the Vyoma or ether elemental state. Then beyond the elements, beyond the Pancha Mahabhuta, we went on to that controller, the will force, the Agnya Chakra, and then we went to the top to the Sahasrara Chakra, which was the chakra from where the dish antenna of your consciousness, 1000-petal lotus, which takes in all the information of the universe and orders it here and then coordinates with the 5 Panchamahabhuta chakras of your being. So this is what we had learned earlier about the chakras. Today we are going to look at the chakras from the idea of the Shaktis within us. Not from the idea of the elements, but from the idea of the Shaktis and the psycho-physiological being that we are. So we are not just a physical being. Every energy center in our body is connected to certain psychological states, pranic states, psychosomatic states, emotional states, mental states. So every energy center is connected to many states of being, not just the organs or the spinal vertebrae, not just the physiological part, but the psychological part, the psychic part, the emotional part, the mental part. All these come together in different chakras in different ways. So in terms of the Shaktis, the moving forces, these chakras give us an indication as to how our emotional being and our physical being work through each energy center or through each chakra or through each level. Because it's not just about the chakra, it's about that level of consciousness in ourselves. Trailokya Mohan Chakra, the base, the square you saw in the Sri Yantra, the base with 3 lines. 3 lines means Trilok, the 3 lokas. What are the 3 lokas? The physical plane, Bhu, the plane of action, Bhuva, and the plane of mind, Swa, where the light, where the vision comes. Yeah. So the 3 lokas, that which can attract the 3 lokas. The bottom chakra is not the 3 lokas. It is that level which can attract the 3 lokas. Mohana. Trailokya Mohana Chakra. That which is attractive to the three levels of being, the three levels of the universe, of the entire universe as well as the universe which is our being, that chakra for which there is great temptation, that which can tempt the whole being by its gravitational force, is the Mooladhara chakra, is the base of our being, is the Trailokya Mohana chakra. And we also did the mudra, remember? What did we do? Remember? Dram. This is the Bija, this is the mudra for, and the Bija mantra Dram for Trailokya Mohana chakra. So since we had already done this before, I thought I'll remind you. So this is the mudra, remember? And Dram. So that's the Bija. So that's a psychological state of that level. Also the physiological state. It is the part of your body that creates maximum attraction. It's from where your sexual energy manifests. Also the part where you can force things out or force things in. Excretory. It excretes and it takes in. Yeah. So it's a very forceful chakra which has great attractive force. Trailokya Mohana chakra. Okay. What is the next chakra in the? What is the next level? Do you remember? This one, 16 petals. See the bottom petals? 16 petals, yes? So that is the second chakra. Second chakra. And what is it called? Sarva Asha Paripuraka Chakra. Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra. What does that mean? Some of you will already understand it by the words itself. Sarv Asha, all desires. Asha means hope, desire, etc. Sarv Asha means all desires. Paripuraka, the fulfiller of all desires. Swadhisthana, remember? The chakra of the rasas, the chakra of the fluids, the chakra of the tastes of the universe. So all the fluids, all the processing of fluids, all the life-giving processes, the sexual processes, all your organs like the uterus, the fallopian tube, your large intestine, everything that is processed and turned into rasa, all happens in that chakra, even physically, physiologically, and psychologically. This is the chakra where you feel the fulfillment of your desires. The fulfillment of your desires, both physically and emotionally or psychologically. When you're doing something in the universe, when you feel fulfilled by the work you're doing, then you are balanced at this level of your being. At this level, you feel balanced. You don't have any discomfort, both emotionally and physically. But the moment you get shaken from that enjoyment of life, from that comfort of life, from that fulfillment of life, at this level of your being, your harmony gets shaken, and like I had mentioned in an earlier session, it might turn into problems in your uterus, problems in your cysts over there, problems in your lower back, in your lower lumbar vertebrae, your nerve being pressed over there, problems like sciatica, etc. So on each level, the emotional being disturbed or the psychological being disturbed can lead to physical problems in the organs that exist at that level of your body. Sarvasha Paripurak Chakra, which is also your Swadhisthana Chakra. So, what is the third chakra? You know the name, otherwise it is called the Manipura Chakra. And what is that state? The fiery state, the fire elemental state, which we already know. So we started with the earthy elemental state, Muladhara, Trailokya Mohana Chakra in Sri Vidya, in the Shakti practice. Then we came to the Swadhisthana Chakra at the level of the belly and the lower lumbar vertebrae, which is also the chakra of the rasas, the water elemental state, the fluid elemental state, and is called Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra in Sri Vidya, in the Shakti practice. And then we come to the third chakra, the Manipura Chakra, at your solar plexus along your navel, from where your life force is organized. Your life force is organized in centrifugal and centripetal forces. This is the crux of your body here, above and below. So below is the downward force, and from here begins the upward forces. After this point, after the Manipura Chakra, begin the upward forces. But from the Manipura downward is the forces that help you implement and create an Aadhar in life. Creation comes forth from these chakras downward. So what is this chakra called psychologically in the third level from the bottom of the Sri Yantra or in Sri Vidya practice, the Shakti practice? It's called Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra. So what is this? This chakra has 8 petals. Yes? You see that? 8 petals. So Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra. What does Sankshobhana mean? Many permutations and combinations, many ifs and buts. Your vital forces which are going into the play of creation, into many experiments, into many pulls and pushes. That's your Manipura Chakra, the chakra of fire, the chakra of passion. So Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra, which means Sarva means all the vital forces of the universe, all the vital play of forces of the universe in their most fiery state, causing heat, causing in the negative form anxiety, anger, jealousy, negative sense of duality and competition, and in the positive form, passion for implementation, passion for creation, passion for perfection, ability to take on challenges, ability to fight against negative circumstances. So the Ashwa of your being, the horse of your being, that which gallops in a web of heights and falls and finds its way through experimentation. So that vital force where all gets processed in a fiery state is called Sarva Sankshobhana Chakra. Yes? What is the next chakra? So the next chakra, you see the triangles, the 14-edged figure, triangular figure. This, you see this? So there are 14 triangles, the 14 cornered figure. So this 14 cornered figure is your, which chakra is it? Above the Manipura, your Anahata chakra. On your chest at the level of the heart, but in the center, not on the left side. The real heart is on the left side. The Anahata chakra is right in the center along your Sushumna Nadi. So, this is the point of air, the soft moving forces of the universe, the moving forces, the giving force, the nourishing force. Air is seen as that which gives you breath, which gives you nourishment. What is this chakra called in Sri Vidya? Sarva Saubhagyadayaka chakra. What is Saubhagyadayaka chakra? Sarva means all. Saubhagyadayaka chakra. Saubhagya means good fortune. Bhagya means destiny, fortune. Saubhagya means good fortune. Sarva Saubhagya Dayaka, the giver of all good fortune, all auspiciousness. So the giver of all auspiciousness, good fortune, good feeling, blessings. This place is the place from where the heart operates, from where we wish everyone well, from where we become the giver, from where we become the force of positive action in life through positive psychology. So this really is the most powerful center of positive emotional and psychological action in your being. So in the Shakti practice, it is called Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra. Okay? Then we come to the throat. Okay? So what is the throat? It is called Vishuddhi Chakra, as we learnt earlier. I had also explained that this is the externalizing mind, where whatever is in your consciousness gets externalized. It is your higher creative center, writers, singers, orators, all such people. We also explained in one of our sessions that each person has a predominant chakra. Many of you have attended that session. So this is really the externalizing mind, this chakra, and also the chakra of Shuddhi or perfect expression. So Vishuddhi Chakra, Vyoma, the center of Vyoma, or the subtle substance of the universe, the subtle truth substance of the universe, which is expressed before the other elements are expressed. Yes? But what is it called in the Shakti practice? What is it called in Sri Vidya? It is called Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. Sarva Artha Sadhaka Chakra. So what does Artha mean? In common language, when we say iska arth, the arth of this, it means meaning. Yes? In other forms in Sanskrit language, we say arth means money. So arth actually means manifestation or expression of what lies within. So if you have a force, the ability to express that force means artha. So that center which can understand and express the forces of nature, the forces within you, the intent of your mind, that which can process and express the intent of your consciousness clearly before you can manifest it. So that center of creative expression at the higher level is called Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. Okay? Then we come to this point, the Agnya Chakra, the point between the eyebrows. And what is this point called? Very, very interesting point. It's the point of protection. It's the will force. It's the point of will. Okay? And this point is called Sarva Raksha Kara Chakra. Raksha means protection. Sarva Raksha, all protection. This is the point of all protection. If this point is strong, all the other chakras and their functions can be controlled. If it is well harmonized, it can control what is happening within the body and within your environment and protect you from all negative influences, either from your own mind or from outside. Important thing is, it should be in harmony. Anything that's out of harmony can act against you. So the whole process of Sri Vidya or any other practice through the chakras is to create harmony in these centers so that they operate according to their true nature and not against their own nature. And so very quickly, we are already out of time, but very quickly we will go to the next chakras. So 3 more chakras, one right in the middle of your forehead, above this point. So here we were in line in between the 2 eyebrows, then in the middle of your forehead. What is that called? Sarva Roga Hara Chakra. Sarva Roga Hara Chakra. So healers, natural healers, people who can heal intuitively, have very strong Sarva Roga Hara Chakras here. And then you have Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra here. And then above that you have Sarvanandamaya Chakra here. So next time we will go again into these and learn the Bija mantras for these chakras. Today we are late, so without taking any questions today, I will take your leave and thank you for being with me in this beautiful journey of Shakti.